In the continent of Essos, there are few religions growing faster than the worship of the red god R'hllor, a dualistic religion of fire and pain and life, and ice and cold and death. Slave children are often bought by the red priesthood to serve as prostitutes, or warriors, or priests. In A Dance with Dragons, we are introduced to Moqorro, a man with skin black as pitch, hair white as ivory, and a face shrouded in flame. Moqorro is sent by the Red Priesthood as a gift for Daenerys Targaryen, supposedly to offer guidance. Tyrion encounters Moqorro while on a ship bound to Qarth. "Have you come to pray with me? Someone told me the night was dark and full of terrors. What do you see in those flames?" "Dragons. Dragons old and young, true and false, bright and dark, and you, a small man with a big shadow snarling in the midst of it." When the ship is hit by a storm, Moqorro is presumed dead, until of course he shows up again on the ship of Victarion Greyjoy, where he gains Victarion's trust with his strange powers and predictions. But what are Moqorro's true intentions? Is he truly loyal to Victarion, or is the Greyjoy simply a pawn in Moqorro's ultimate goal? First, we have to decrypt some of Moqorro's prophecies. Moqorro mentions to Tyrion that he sees dragons true and false. This likely refers to Dany, the true dragon, and Aegon, the false dragon. He also refers to Tyrion as a small man with a big shadow. This is not the first time that Tyrion's large shadow has been drawn to our attention. The first time our author does this is in a Jon Snow POV chapter. When he opened the door, the light from within threw his shadow clear across the yard, and for just a moment, Tyrion Lannister stood as tall as a king. And again, in A Clash of Kings, during Tyrion's conversation with Varys on the abstract nature of power, Varys smiled. "Here, then. Power resides where men believe it resides. No more, no less." "So power is a mummer's trick. A shadow on the wall," Varys murmured. "Yet shadows can kill, and ofttimes a very small man can cast a very large shadow." What Moqorro seems to be implying here is that Tyrion will be essential to events to come. His large shadow represents his influence. Moqorro sees him snarling in the midst of dragons, casting his shadow, which implies that although Tyrion will have influence, it will not be something that he desires, more so something that is forced upon him. "Have you seen these others in your fires?" he asked warily. "Only their shadows," Moqorro said. "One most of all, a tall and twisted thing, with one black eye and 10 long arms, sailing on a sea of blood." This seems to refer to Euron Greyjoy, the Crow's Eye. The sigil of House Greyjoy is the Kraken, a 10-limbed sea monster with one enormous eye. The fact that he sees him sailing on a sea of blood says to me that death shall follow the Kraken wherever he goes. Perhaps this could refer to Victarion as well, who we know Moqorro has glimpsed also. The fact that Moqorro sees the Kraken's shadow most of all implies that the Kraken will be Daenerys Targaryen's greatest adversary. And since Victarion does possess what is claimed to be a Dragonbinder, a horn that can bind dragons to its will, this lends credibility to this idea. Moqorro provides Victarion with much useful information when he is saved from the sea. But there is one particular prophecy that seems to stand out as being more ominous than even Victarion realizes. "Your drowned god is a demon," the Black Priest Moqorro said afterwards. "He is no more than a thrall of the other, the dark god whose name must not be spoken." "Take care, priest," Victarion warned. "There are godly men aboard this ship, men who would tear out your tongue for speaking such blasphemies. Your red god will have his due, I swear it. My word is iron. Ask any of my men." The Black Priest bowed his head. "There is no need. The Lord of Light has shown me your worth, Lord Captain. Every night in my fires I glimpse the glory that awaits you." What glory is Moqorro referring to here? What due shall the Red God have of Victarion? There seems to be but one option here: fire and blood. Victarion will die and be given to the flames. Moqorro always knew that Tyrion's ship would not reach Qarth. He knew that he was bound for Slaver's Bay. His every action and every word is careful and precise. When Moqorro is found by Victarion's ship, the crew wishes him to be put to death. Moqorro's calmness strikes fear into the heart of the Ironborn. He tells Victarion that he knows of his plans to seek out Daenerys Targaryen, and also that Victarion will die from the wound on his arm without his help. Through fire and magic, Moqorro heals Victarion, and his arm becomes as black as Moqorro's skin. But was it truly in Victarion's best interest? Two other Red Priests feature prominently in our story, Melisandre and Thoros of Myr. Both of them are sent to Westeros with orders from the Red Priesthood. Thoros was sent to King's Landing to curry the favor of the then fire-obsessed Mad King Aerys. But the king was unimpressed by his tricks. Melisandre's goal, however, is less clear. In the beginning, she believes Stannis Baratheon to be Azor Ahai reborn, but later seems to question this in favor of Jon Snow. I pray for a glimpse of Azor Ahai, and R'hllor shows me only snow. Both Melisandre and Thoros seem to possess power that normal men do not. Melisandre can use her ruby to glamour and perhaps even control people. In A Dance with Dragons, when Mance Rayder approaches Melisandre, she can feel the ruby stir. Melisandre felt the warmth in the hollow of her throat as the ruby stirred at the closeness of its slave. Here, our author implies that Mance is bound to Melisandre's will because of the ruby. Could Victarion as well be under the influence of a similar type of magic? In A Dance with Dragons, Moqorro spends a great deal of time studying the inscriptions on the Dragonbinder. Moqorro tells Victarion that it translates to, I am Dragonbinder. No mortal man shall sound me and live. Blood for fire, fire for blood. Who blows the hellhorn matters not. The dragons will come to the horn's master. You must claim the horn with blood. Which is exactly what Moqorro may do. If Victarion is truly bound to Moqorro's magic, then is Moqorro not truly Victarion's master? The master of the master. Moqorro seeks the power of dragons. He will use Victarion, who has foolishly fallen into his trap, to gain what he seeks. But to what end? Power? The glory of the priesthood? The answer is unclear. What is clear, however, is that Moqorro does not have Victarion's best interest in mind. He is clearly hiding several crucial details about his visions, and he is not likely translating all of the inscriptions on the Dragonbinder. It is possible that Moqorro views the Greyjoys as a threat and wants to neutralize the threat so that Daenerys Targaryen will succeed. And it is also possible that Moqorro, like so many in our story, seeks only power for himself. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more ideas of Ice and Fire. Also check out my Twitter account for updates on future videos.